So I just talked about needing to fix those two bolts once I pull the motor out. And then I realized that those two bolts are where I had my lifting points on the other 5.4 sitting over there. So I may get to do some extractions in the car before we pull the motor, because that's really where I like to put my chains. So I guess I'll bring home some of that type of stuff before I, get too much deeper into this thing. But I probably will still want to pull the supercharger off just to give us more room to work before we get that deep into it. So I was kind of eyeballing making a game plan, and it looks like I can actually pull supercharger with the lower intake. So I'm gonna have to pull the ignition coils out that are in the way and then pull my bolts on both sides. And it looks like that, it's going to be heavy, but it looks like that'll come out all as one big chunk, and I should be able to clear the firewall back there, unlike the other one. So it'll be one less gasket we need to buy, be one less sealing issue we need to have. So that may be what we end up doing. We'll see. We'll cross that bridge once we get a little bit further into it. But for now, I've had enough fun for one night, and enough surprises and enough broken stuff. So I'm signing off for the night out here in the garage, and I will pick you up next time I'm out here, probably tomorrow, but we'll see how that goes. Jumping back into the truck, and I'm going to work on trying to get these two bolts out. This side, the block's a little thinner, so I think I can just get back here and put some pliers and start turning it and see if we can get it loose. This one we're going to actually have to extract, so I'm going to work on getting this one out first, because it should be easier, and then we'll jump into the harder one. All right, yep, we got one out. Jumping into the extracting of the harder one here. Got left-hand drill bits, and the reason why left-hand's important is if the drill bit does snag a little bit, then it will just naturally want to release our threads for us. So we're going to work on trying to get that one drilled out, and then if we can't get it drilled out, then we'll use the actual extractor portion of it, which is the guys in the middle, and those bite to the left as well, and we'll work on trying to get that turned out. Well, I got really lucky on that one, so I went ahead and stepped up to the larger drill bit, and as soon as I got on the drill bit, it just started spinning out. Again, that's why we use the left-hand drill. It just literally walked it right out of the hole, so I didn't even need to get into using the biting extractor. So we're in good shape there, and we can continue with the rest of the repairs. Picking up the next day, I got my ignition coils removed out of both sides, and I was going to show y'all how to do the fuel lines on these. So I dug out my bag of different fitting sizes. Get back in here, and they have these redundant secondary locks that you just kind of pry off like that. Oh, okay, so you can see it clips over the line this way, and then has a stopper on the back side. And there's two different ones. There's a return and a supply. These are actually two different sizes. That's going to be the correct one for this one. And these are basically the bigger version of the cheap cups that you most often find at the parts stores. Are these little dudes like that, and these work fine. They're just take a little more finessing to get them installed and pressed on. So this, if I flip this open, you can see it has essentially the same thing on the inside. There's a little raised lip that engages the spring and lets you release the line. Like I said, they're basically the same thing. They're just a little bit easier to manage because they're spring loaded. And the other nice thing about them is because they have that back wall back here, and because of the full cup shape of them, it helps mitigate your fuel spray from spraying it all over the place or back at you or something like that. So that one's not going to be the right size either. Figure out what size this one is. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, that one worked. So you basically, you're just clipping them on, and then you engage that spring inside of here, and once the spring is pressed out of the way, then the fuel line should just unclip itself and come right off. And this one did not release completely. I'm gonna set the camera down. Took a little finagling to get them off, but I just want to show you there are two different O-rings on this guy. There's a blue one and then there's a black one. So you want to be careful with the O-rings to make sure that you're not cutting them or tearing them, or whenever you go reinstall them, remember there's two sets of O-ring or double O-ring there. And that's just typical for fuel to have double O-rings. So fuel lines are disconnected. And then I still have a couple heater hoses and then everything from underneath, but and I'll need to drop power steering and AC. Same way we did last time, but I wanted to at least get the fuel lines disconnected. And we'll continue right along. Alright, well, I've got all the supercharger bolt, or the lower intake bolts loose for the supercharger. So I think we're probably ready for it to come out. There may be one electrical connection or a coolant hose or something on the back, so I'm just going to move it a little bit first. Alright, so I got one coolant hose on this side. Okay, coolant line's disconnected. Let's try this again. Trying to make sure my harnesses aren't snagged. Supercharger is off. Ended up, like I said, pulled it with mid plate and lower intake altogether. Just fewer bolts to take off. I did pour coolant all the way down my leg, so that's fine. But we're in good shape underneath here now. So I still got to drop AC compressor and power steering, and then pull transmission, but we're in pretty good shape here. So that's probably as far as I want to go tonight, and we'll pick up another night.